Good morning from Guam. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I have a 9 o'clock meeting, so I figured I would do this now, give myself a little transition time, which is often a challenge. We'll have to do a live around transitions. But today I thought we would have an exploration about, again, this is sort of my third theme around 2019, but in the beginning of a new year, we're often imagining, what's this year going to be? And what do we want to take on? Or what do we want to let go? Or, what is a step in the direction we want to be? It can be in any area of our life. There's so many rich areas of our lives. Perhaps it's in our downtime, in our leisure time. Perhaps we want to take steps in our professional development. Perhaps we want to take steps in our physical life in terms of eating or eating well, or perhaps our exercise or movement practices. So maybe there's just something of interest that we want to know more about, and we want to learn more about. So maybe we read or go to a workshop or whatever. So perhaps you have an intention in mind. It's often good to have a piece of paper or a journal to write things down that you gather from these little explorations. And of course, I would love to hear any responses or any experiences you have. You don't have to publicly post them. You can privately post it to me. But today, because of the idea of steps, I have like 6 yoga blocks that can be steps in our exploration. And I've been playing with them anyway in my movement and yoga practice. I'm going to take off my sleeves and suggest that, what is it that, good morning, Ann, you need to get comfortable in your skin right now. What's a great way to warm up your body? I'm feeling the urge to do a little bit of circular motion. You may have some other ideas. Sometimes people like the self-touch, really feeling your skin, warming up the body. So anyway, I don't have stairs in my house, but one practice or exploration you can do is, playing with your stairway of steps in your life that you'd like to take. Or perhaps it is, playing with that one step in and out of the house. So that's probably the best I can do in this house, since it's a 1-story house, is to step off my back, sliding glass doors out into the outside where we have a patio. So I'm just going to do a little bit of stretching, and I encourage you to do what feels good in your body, what really feels like it's going to give you a bit of space in the body, a bit of warming up into the joints. It's good to warm up into the joints, find a little movement. I like to shake sometimes to open up into movement. Look, I can see myself standing. Isn't that good? I'm getting better at these. I know my space isn't ideal, but you get to see how I live, which has a bit of chaos in this organization. And that could be one of our themes we explore in movement. There's a little bit about chaos, order. So I'm just finding what in my body is going to give me access to my creative response. And one of my intentions in this year, of course, there's many, but one of them is, you know, just allowing spontaneity just to arise, you know, creativity just to be a daily part of my life or a daily practice. And I've been writing morning pages, Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, for about 20 years now. And those often I've decided sort of this year that I might look at, you know, what's a small actionable step I need to take this year or every day, you know, that relates to my life in some way, you know. So there's many things we have going on in our lives. And so you can, you know, and actionable steps can be tiny baby steps. So as we're exploring warming up the body, let's just plainly, I don't know if it's plain or not, start to just step in your space, whatever your space is. So you can take steps in different directions, you know, so let's really feel into the feet. And this is our traditional way that we step, but we might step in different ways, you know, and use different body parts to lead us. But right now we'll be a little bit literal, and we'll take steps in our approach, in our exploration. So as you know, steps can take us into all kinds of different directions. We go forward, back, you know, we can even go up and down. So really feeling our weight. So once we take steps, you know, we're really feeling our weight activated. And I would suggest that activating our weight is certainly one way that when we take steps in our life, you know, to really tune in and connect with those steps. So the weight can really support the steps in your life. Now, because I have these yoga blocks, I'm going to kind of randomly put them around my space and say, what's it like to take a step this way, in this direction? And the step has a bit of an elevation, so perhaps I feel a bit more lightness. But of course, it's whatever your exploration is. You can have something else that you might use to step on. I mean, really, you want something big to step. I'll get out my yoga chair. So, spontaneity rules. So if I want to take a bigger step, I might really get out my yoga step. Remember how there used to be, and there probably still is, step aerobics. So if you've got, and I used to have one, if you have a step aerobic at home, that might be something you play with. Just trying to figure out where to put this chair. It's here in case I want it. So there's many ways to take steps. Now what's involved in this is a little bit more action. And so maybe there's things that you are engaged with in your life that you feel like is a big step up. Maybe you're changing, relocating where you're living, or changing your job, or doing something quite different. You might want to practice, what's that feel like to take the big step up? Now I'm holding my hands on the chair because, as you know, I broke my wrist in August, and I'm giving myself some stability as I play with the steps. And as you know, I did a video on moving in the chair. So again, this is a different way to move in the chair, is to use it as a launching pad, as a stepping pad. So as we move with our, you know, feeling of steps, I want you just to, as you're moving around a little bit, meandering with the steps, what are you imagining is something you want to take or bring or, you know, add more to your life in 2019? Because as you know, we might have some pretty big goals like say, finding a new job. And so you might want to say, well, what's a small step I can take in that direction? So maybe it's updating your resume or your CV. Maybe it's doing a search of kind of where you want to work, or if you're working for yourself, maybe it's some actions around developing your presence or your community where people become interested in your work. So there's lots of options of what you might be focusing on, or it could be something more personal. You know, you're wanting to get to that swimming pool or that dance class or that aerobics class or that whatever it is, you know, more often this year. So how can you give yourself space in your schedule? Some people might say, use your schedule to write these things down, commit yourself to it. So that would be a whole nother video is about committed action. So as you play with the steps, you know, one of the things that I've been enjoying with my blocks is putting them together in a row and playing with, you know, finding the balance, kind of like balance beam. So maybe there's some precariousness in what you're trying to step into. So you can play with how you might move along the blocks. There's so many ways to have to play with these. I don't know if I really want to go on them that they're more stable like this, so I'm probably a little bit more into stability and movement, especially after a broken wrist. But anyway, what is it? What steps are coming to you? And remember, we can think about things as baby steps. It's a little bit of trying something out. So if there's something new that you're trying to take on, maybe you want to find a very trusted friend to try that out with. Maybe you're trying to add some new practices in your day or in your morning. Let's just take that as an example. You want to make sure one of the things I started doing more last year is it's so easy to look at our phone and look at emails first thing. I decided right now that the pool on base is closed and I'm not swimming early, I decided the first thing I was going to do in the morning was write my morning pages. And not look at the phone or look at any of my emails. And so that sort of clears my head for the day. So you may have something in your morning routine that you want to add or do a little bit differently. Just play with that idea. What's that idea? And then just step into it and take a moment to feel, what's that like? What's that like to step into that? And what's a really small way I can make that actionable? So for now, just imagine what that might be as you take these steps. Now there also might be a bit of a larger step or imagining you have for the year, like what do you want to say to yourself, or what at the end of 2019, you know, what is it that you imagine that will become clear for you, or that you hope to be really embracing more fully? So then you can take that larger, we sort of did this when we played with 2018, 2019, but what is that energetically feeling like? That larger wholeness of the big step of the big picture. So sometimes we want to go into the little detail, and sometimes we want to go into the larger picture. So what is it like to go into the fine detail, and what is it like to go into the bigger picture? And just take a minute or two to just keep playing with the movement. And for me, I'm discovering that I'm wanting to understand or be really keenly aware of multiple layers, multiple levels. And that's coming to me as I explore. Because I've been playing with metaphors for a long time, and I'd like to really fine-tune that deeper understanding and some of those subtleties. So, give yourself another minute to resolve whatever that state belongs, like balance. And probably all of us want to come fully and embrace our lives. So perhaps just take a step to really embrace your life, whatever movement is going to really symbolize that. Really bring it into yourself. And I'm going to slowly move towards the camera and just say, bring this into yourself. And of course, if you need some support, you need to write things down, you need to do some drawing, whatever way is best for you that you process movement, dance, experientials. Please give yourself that. If you have somebody you speak to often about your explorations, please do that. And always feel free to contact me here on my Facebook page. So thank you very much. Have a beautiful day or sleep or night or wherever you are in your cycle of day and night. And hope to see you again on a live video. Many dancing and moving blessings.